So, in this lesson we are going to learn how to bake and export the scene we did in the previous lesson. Don't forget that our final goal is to export to 3GS, and we need to do some stuff. We need to optimize the model because there are some optimization we can do here, because the less polygon, less surface, stuff like that, I'm going to explain everything. We need to unwrap it because in the end we need a texture. So it's a 2D texture, so we need to unwrap all those geometries. So it seems like a lot of work. It is, but don't worry, there are some tips and tricks I'm going to show you. And in the end, we need to bake it, obviously. And we're going to do all of this now. About the setup, you can start from the starter file with the lesson. It will be the same blend file as me, with the same layout. You get everything like here. It's from the previous lesson, or you can start from your file. It's up to you. You have to decide. I will be using the 2.92 version of Blender with a bug. We're going to see that bug later. It's not a huge bug. We can finish the whole course with that bug. You might have the bug in different version. Anyway, we will talk about this in due time. So yeah, let's go. Alright, first thing we can do is remove all the hidden faces, because right now we can see that we have a lot of objects in the scene. Look at this trunk as an example, so you can switch to wireframe. This trunk has polygons, so all around it, on the top, but also on the bottom, but we can't see this at the bottom. So you might think it's just one face. Actually, one n-gon like this, let me show you here, one n-gon like this is multiple triangles, because in the end we get triangles. So it's not good. We need to remove this because it's less triangles to show in the WebGL, but also it's going to take less room in the texture, because if you have a lot of hidden faces that will be baked, it will take room on the final bake texture for nothing, because it's going to be like all black or nobody will see it. So we need to get rid of those. So we have multiple faces to get rid of, and we can just start object by object and delete all the unused invisible faces. So first we can start with the trunk. As you can see, I use the slash shortcut, so it's this one. You can simply click on slash, and this will focus and hide everything else. Focus on the selection and hide everything else. So what you can do is simply switch to the solid mode if you're not already in, solid shading if you're not already in it. Check below, select all the trunks if not already. Use the faces mode. So this one, you can click on the number 3 on your keyboard, so this one there, and simply select all the bottom faces and remove them by using X and clicking faces, and that's all. You did optimize it. Oh, sorry, I did a mistake here. So it's this one, this one, this one, and this one, faces. I'm not going to remove the back faces here because I want the user to be able to rotate all around the scene. So I will keep them. Then we can take care of the logs. So yet again, you can select all the logs. Yeah. Okay, let's switch with a slash. Let's focus on them. Oh, sorry, this one is not a log. This one is a rock. So I'm going to select the log only. We're going to take care of the rock anyway. And we can remove this one, this one, this one. Question is, do we remove this one? Well, it really depends. Can we see it? Not much. I mean, maybe if the user put the camera there, but you won't see much. You know what? Let's get rid of this one too. Maybe it's a bad idea. Anyway, I don't think it's going to be like a huge problem anyway. Then we can take care of the fences. Fences are going to be a bit harder. And we are actually going to do like a mistake in terms of process, but it's because we don't know yet what are the next steps. Here it's up to you. I think we can get rid of those. Yeah, for sure. Question is, should we get rid of those ones here? I think so. Yeah. You know what? Let's get rid of those here. And we only do it on one fence. Now we have a problem. Should we do it on every fences? If we had used linked duplicate, we could have just edit one and all the other one would have been updated, but we didn't use linked duplicate here, so it's a problem. We can just there are two solutions. We can duplicate them, or we can just take care of them manually. And we are going to do that multiple times. You will see why later. For the sake of the lesson, let's start by doing like a repetitive task and do it manually. I know it's quite long and I have solution. The real solution would have been to use like link duplicates, but we didn't, so it's our fault. Let's select those. This one, this one, this one, this one. If you messed up a selection, oops, just undo. Control Z or Command Z, which is great to be able to just undo selection. It's one of the best features of Blender. It's strange at first, but it's so useful because we spend so much time trying to select the exact face and vertex and stuff like that. So the pole, don't forget that the pole are linked duplicates, so we did a good job here. So we can take care of the base, so we don't have the face below. We are going to keep the faces all around. We need to take care of the pole. We can remove this one, not the one on the top. So we have a part of this pole inside this pole here. It's not a big problem. We can just keep it like that. We can improve the rope, and now we have some kind of trouble because we can't see it. You can switch to wireframe, select the face here, like that. Select the face here and remove those. Is it good? I think so. Anyway, if we forgot something, we can get back to the editing. As long as we don't start to unwrap, we can still optimize stuff, move stuff, it's okay. All right, so because we updated this one should be good. Let's just make sure of that. Yeah, see, the faces are gone because these are linked duplicates. Okay, cool. Next one, which one is it? It's the rocks. So rocks are a bit harder. Let me check. It's going to take a lot of time to select all of the rocks. What you can do is right click on the collection and choose select objects. So I repeat, selecting all the rocks can be a problem. Too long because there are small rocks between the logs, stuff like that. You can do right click on the collection, select objects, and that's it. You have all your objects. Oh, by the way, what's that? I did a mistake here. The light is inside the rocks. That's a mistake. My bad. The light should be in others. I didn't see that in a previous lesson. So yet again, by the way, you can deactivate lamp selection and camera selection by clicking on this icon on the others collection. And if you can't see this icon, just click on the filters here and choose this one. This one must be activated. All right, we can select the rocks again and switch to the focus mode. I don't think it's focus mode, but anyway, it helps focusing on this. Go to the edit mode, so while everything is selected, make sure you don't select, like currently I have some faces selected, so I press A twice. Oh, I forgot this. Yeah, now you have the shortcuts. Many mistakes. So A twice, so that everything is unselected, and we select the bottom faces. So these are endguns. We don't care about that. Anyway, we are going to remove them because we can't see them. Obviously, if you have a scene, like, I don't know, maybe a plane, something floating in the space, well, you will keep things like below because the camera can rotate all around. So I think it's fine. Yeah, let's remove those. Let me check if everything is good. Oh, those ones are so close, but they are not overlapping. It's okay if you have rocks overlapping, but I try to avoid. We see that it might create some seam in the final result in the baking. Like we will be able to see one here. I will show you. And here in the pole. All right, so the rocks are fine. We need to optimize the stairs. And I did a mistake last time. It was actually on purpose, this time at least, is that the boxes are going through the floor, through the other boxes. So we need to fix that. We're going to take care of each one of the stairs. So I can start with the big one. I focus on it. What should I remove? Well, the bottom face, that's for sure. Should I remove the back face? Yet again, I want the user to be able to rotate all around, so no, I'm not going to remove this one, but it's up to your scene and what you want to do. Maybe you will clamp the camera so that the camera cannot go too far, like all around. It's up to you, it's up to your scene. Next one is this one. So first I need to optimize it. So before removing the faces, I need to make sure that they are not overlapping. I'm optimizing the surface. So I can use this view. I press 3 to be on the side. Hopefully you have the same axis as me. So maybe it's another number. And I can just select, well, this face here and move it on the Y, like this. So this is the other stair, like the main one. And I just move this one, like closer, like this. Close enough, just close enough here. It's good. I can select the one on the bottom, move it up so it's on the Z. Actually, I wonder if this one, yeah, this one is not low enough. Can I select it? Let me select you. You don't want me to select you? Oh, it's because I remove it. It's not such a problem. I can just select those edges and move them down. Maybe yours is better anyway. I can select this one, move it up. It's okay if it's not like right on the bottom. And this one, and move it closer to the center of the scene. Let's see how good is it. Yeah, it's good. Okay, cool. I forgot to remove the faces below. So I focus on this one. Sorry, I went maybe a bit too fast here. Let me get back to the initial setup. Yeah, like this. So I have this one here. They now have the right size. I already removed the one below the main stair. What I can do now is take care of this one. And yes, this time I can remove this part here. All right, because it's against the other part of the stairs. And the one below, obviously. All right, I think it's good. This one too. So focus on it. Remove this. Yes, looking great. I leave the focus mode, and here you go. Check if you didn't like remove extra faces. You need to remove the right faces for each one of the stairs. Yeah, it looks good. Let's see all together. All right, you should get something like that. Pause the video if I went too fast, as always. So, next part, let me see. Yeah, we can take care of the bricks. And if I want to remove, let's say, yeah, I think it's mostly those ones. See, there is a face inside the stairs. All the other faces are visible. All right, so even the one like between the bricks, we can see them, so I'm going to keep them. But the one going inside the stairs need to be removed. How can I do that? Well, I can edit it, I can select it, and see I have a problem here. It's because they are linked duplicates. I cannot edit this one without editing all the other bricks. So I need to find a solution here. The solution is to remove those duplicates. I'm going to make them like a singular in a way. And actually that's a mistake, because here we should have unwrapped them first and then make them singular. But we don't know about unwrapping, stuff like that yet, so we are going to do that mistake anyway. Just follow me on this, don't worry, it's going to add like a few minutes of work later. It's okay. I'm going to select everything and make sure no object in the scene are duplicates. And it's very important, not just for editing like this part, because see the pose, I edited one and it edited the other one and it was great. Okay, cool. But I still need to make those singular. When we are going to unwrap this pole, we are going to say this geometry will be unwrapped and take those coordinates in this 2D texture. Okay, but we don't want both poles to be at the same place in those coordinates. We need separate coordinates. And if they are linked duplicates, they will take the same place because it's the same geometry and the same unwrap. So we need to make everything singular. We are not going to select each one that is a duplicate. We can select everything. We can search, so it's 3, 4 is going to be make single, yeah, that's it. Make single user, so it's this one, object and data. Not material, be careful with that. It's going to create like one material for each object. Even if they are sharing the same material, you're going to end up with like, I don't know, 50, maybe 100 materials. So it's just object and data. And you click there and you don't play with that menu. And if you change, let's say the pole, we see that now it's only changing this one and not this one. So we don't have any more linked duplicate. Let's get back to the bricks because it was the initial issue. Select the 2 bricks going inside the stairs. Go in focus mode and remove those faces. So it was a lot of work for just 2 faces, but I wanted to show you this how to make a linked duplicate single again. All right, I think it's good. There is another issue that you might not have. Still, I need to show you because maybe you will have it. It's about face orientation. You know about face orientation. When we use 3GS, we can say this cube, we can see the inside or the outside. So it was side, and we have to choose like back side, front side, or if we want to be able to see both sides, we could use double side. All right, so it's a thing, and it's also a thing inside Blender. Blender have this principle of having front side and back side. And this, you can't see it when you do a render. Like maybe some faces are wrongly oriented, but you can't see it in the render because when doing a render, Blender doesn't care. He put like double side anyway. So we can see both sides of the faces. But when we are going to bake, it's gonna be different. And faces wrongly oriented, like let's say this one here is wrongly oriented, might probably look like full black. It depends, but anyway, it's not going to be the right color. So we need to fix that. Also, if we export to 3GS, the side will be wrong and we won't be able to see anything here because we can only see the front side by default. So we need to fix those face orientation. But how can we know which faces are wrongly oriented? We can do that. So go into a mode, so not wireframe. I recommend using solid or material preview. I will be using solid mode. Sorry, solid shading. It's not a mode, it's shading. And then you should go into that menu here. Be careful, it might be different depending on your version of Blender. I'm using 2.92. It might be different for you. I will just show you the checkbox so you maybe can do just a search somewhere. The checkbox we need is this one. It's face orientation. It doesn't matter which object is active. You can click anywhere. You can be in edit mode. It's going to be slightly different. See, the menu is very different, but you still have it somewhere over here, face orientation. I recommend using the object mode, so I'm not editing geometry, because it's much smaller and we can see the face orientation checkbox. So search, if you don't have this button with the face orientation, just search for it on Google. I'm sure you will find it quickly and specify the version of Blender. So I think it's quite clear here. The blue ones are good. The red ones are flipped. They are looking inside. You might have everything blue. If you followed the previous lesson, everything will be blue. It's because I changed them on purpose to show you this mistake. I got actually really lucky last time because usually I always have revert faces, so flipped faces. Fortunately, in the last lesson, we did everything right. It was really lucky. But anyway, if you find those, you need to flip those. By the way, how did we get those? Well, maybe I can show you how to get this bug. Don't do it. I just want to show you the mistake you can do to get this result. See this plane? If I try to extrude it, it's fine. Okay, I get back. If I try to extrude it on the other side, now it's wrong. All right, so usually when we have wrong normals, like wrong flipped faces, it's because we did an extrude in the wrong direction. Usually. There are other mistakes that can result to this, but for me, it's always that. I just did an extrude in the wrong direction. So before finishing and exporting everything, you just show faces orientation and you fix that. Anyway, you would have seen that there is some problems in the baked texture, or when importing into 3GS, you would have seen that there are problems. So how to fix those? Sorry, I'm talking way too much. How to fix those? So maybe if I show them, it's going to be easier. We can take care of this one. No, let's start with the axe. As you can see, we have the head of the axe here. I click on it. I go into edit mode. I select all the faces having a problem, and I search for flip. And it's going to flip the normals like this. And now it's blue. I can leave it. Let's go on to this one. It's going to be harder because see, this one is fine, this one is not, this one is not. How to fix that? I select everything, and this time I'm going to show you another magic trick. You can search for, so search is F3, and you can search for recalculate outside. And Blender will do it for you. It will try to guess what's the outside and what's the inside. It might not always work depending on your geometry, but Blender will try to guess what's the result you might want. Here it's just boxes. Even if some boxes are open, Blender can guess where is the outside. I wonder what's the algorithm behind this, but anyway, it's doing a great job. So it's recalculate outside. You search, so you select everything. I'm not even sure you need to select everything. Let's do a test. I selected nothing, recalculate. Yeah, you have to select everything. Even the good ones, you search for recalculate outside, and you get this. If you do recalculate inside, you get the opposite. Easy. Make sure everything is blue. It's the case for me. Maybe it was already the case for you before. Anyway, you know that there are this, you might have this issue and you now know how to fix it. We can move forward. You can remove this face orientation thing like that, and we can move forward. All right. There is another issue that you might not see. It's about scaling. I might have told you that in the first Blender lesson, but when you scale, try to scale in edit mode. Like I want to make this axe bigger. I go into edit mode and I scale it. Like, I don't know, if I want like a huge axe, I can do something like that, move it there, and that's it. Why? Well, because it's always good to keep a scale on the item to 1 here. This is not the case here, because when I created this axe, I did this mistake on purpose. We created like a huge axe because it was easier for us, and then we scaled it down into that final axe here. And that's a mistake because now the scale is wrong. Why is it a problem? I can show you like briefly, so don't do it. I just want to show you how it's a problem. When we are going to unwrap stuff, let's say I want to unwrap, I'm going to show you how to unwrap. Don't do it, just follow me on that. Let's say I want to unwrap this axe and this trunk. To unwrap, it's something like that. I can do something like that, I will show you everything after. And this is the unwrap geometry. I'm going to undo everything, but I want to show you the problem here. This is my axe, and you can recognize the shape of it. See? It's my axe. So all the faces of my axe. And this is my log. Do you see the problem here? My log is so small compared to the axe, because when unwrapping, Blender doesn't take into account the scale of the object. There are reasons for that. There are many reasons. I'm not going to go into details, so it's not a bug. It has to do it this way, but it will result on this like wrong proportions. So we need to fix that. So I'm going to get back to the initial state. And to fix that, we can select everything. So all the objects, as always, my camera and light are not selectable. So this way I can just work on the objects and not on those special stuff here. So camera and light. Make sure you have one outlined. So any one of them will be fine. You need one to have this bright outline. And you press Ctrl A. and this menu is to apply stuff. You can apply the location. If you do that, don't do that. See, now all the location are to 0. It's a bit strange because now if I move the log, it will do that. So I will undo. I can apply the rotation. So now all the rotation will be 0. We don't care about this. We can apply the scale. This is the one we need. And we can apply also like rotation and scale, all transform. And we can do other stuff. I don't even know this one. What I need here is to apply the scale. And I'm going to click on this. And see now, my scale is 1. My scale on the log is 1. My scale, let's see, on the fences is 1. So everything now has a scale of 1. I can show you the unwrap again, like this. And as you can see, the log is much bigger. Those are the right proportions. So everything is good now. So let's undo that. So we simply normalized the scale in a way. All the scales are now 1. It's not really normalized, but I like to say that. Okay, cool. The next step is the unwrap. That's it. We optimized everything. It's time to unwrap the scene in order to have the coordinates inside like a square like that will result in a texture. So how can we do that? So actually I can show you this. Yeah. So this is our final scene, and this is our unwrap. I just want to show you it again. So we need to unwrap this scene, so the scene we have here, it's not exactly the same, but you get the idea, into that. So we need to unwrap stuff. And as you can see, we also need to cut things. Like this is a rock, but it's just one part of the rock, one part of the stairs, one part of the pole, etc. There are many ways to do unwrap. Unwrap is like, it's a job. Like really, people are afraid of unwrapping because it's hard, because you don't know what will be the result. You need experience. I mean, it's a full-time job to do the unwrap. Maybe not such a funny job. I like to unwrap, like it's really like peaceful. I can spend hours doing unwraps. It's just like doing like quite simple stuff. Once you know how to do it, it's simple. I just put some music and I do some unwrapping. So it's up to you. You will see if you like it or not. And I'm going to show you many tricks to make it so much simple to do. The first time you do unwrap without knowing the techniques, it's just a nightmare. Like it's just too hard. Okay, there are multiple ways of doing the unwrap. There are two main ways. There is the automatic smart. So I use smart in quotes because you will see that it's the exact name in Blender. Unwrap, which is great because you can do it like really fast, but it's not optimized. And there is the manual way, so it's much longer, but the unwrap, if you do it right, will be much better, much optimized. We're going to use both. We're going to use the manual one for object we can unwrap manually, and we are going to use the smart version for complex objects like the rocks. You will see why later. Okay, first we need, and I already did in my example, a UV editor area. So maybe it was something like this for you. You have maybe your camera here. Anyway, you take one of your areas and you change it to UV editor. And this will show the coordinates of your UV unwrap. All right. It's up to you. Maybe you can create, if your screen is big enough, I'm using like full HD resolution so that I don't have much room. But if you have room, you can create another one here, like that. And maybe create, I don't know, this one can be other thing. We are going to add even more areas soon. So hang on, organize your setup. It's like organizing your desk. You have to be comfortable as much as possible. All right, I'm going to zoom this one a little bit so that you can see the coordinates I'm going to create. So this is the unwrap. And actually, if you select any object, like let's say the log, you can see that there is already something happening here. We have some kind of default unwrap. If I do it with this one, all right, this is strange. Why not? Maybe the axe, and you can actually select multiple elements. This looks bad. Anyway, we're going to fix that. And we are going to start with the most simple one, which is the floor. So we need to unwrap everything, by the way. We are going to start with the floor. So let's go. I edit the floor. Good news, a plane by default is already unwrapped. I have to warn you, maybe you don't have this. Like when you go to the floor, you go to edit mode and you select the floor, you should have this square. If you don't have this square, it might be because when you created, so don't do it, I just want to show you, when you created your plane, you didn't check generate UVs. All right, so check this generate UVs when you create your plane. So if you did that, don't worry, it's not a huge mistake. What you can do is just press U and click unwrap. All right. If you already have the square here, it's fine. Don't do it. And this is the unwrap, and this is really easy. Like, how do you unwrap a paper? Well, it's already unwrapped. You have nothing to unwrap. So let's keep it this way. What we are going to do, anyways, move it in a corner of our coordinates, because we are going to place all the objects inside one UV coordinates, because we want to create in the end one texture only. By the way, you can have more complex scenes with multiple textures. It's the case on 3GS Journey homepage. You have like many floors. Each floor has its own texture. All right, so it's different set of UV unwrap, but one floor always fit in one UV coordinate. So let's move it. By the way, you can move stuff, rotate stuff, and scale stuff here. When you hover this area, you can just scale like that, rotate, and move. So S, R, G. This one is a bit too high because I moved this. Yeah. Let me just move this one down a little. Yeah, like that. All right, so that you can see those. What we're going to do is so you can use Control so that it kind of magnet the value, and we are going to move it there. All right, bottom left corner, 1/4 of the full image. It's okay if it's like that or like that. We don't really care. We are just going to place things roughly. We make sure all the objects are not overlapping each other, and at the end we will just make sure everything fits nicely. So for now, we just roughly place stuff. We do a clean unwrap of everything, and we just roughly place those inside those coordinates. And it's even if it's outside, it's okay. We don't care. We're going to move everything at the end. Okay, the floor is done. Let's move to the next part. And we're going to take care of the fences. So select one of the fences. You can focus on it by using the slash, because we are going to unwrap it, and it's going to be a bit harder than the floor. Then you can select everything, so go into edit mode. The unwrap is always in edit mode, so you can't see anything if you're not using the edit mode. Press U. So U is to have the unwrap menu, and you can choose many things, and we actually see this one when we did the example with the floor. When the unwrap is not done, you can click on unwrap and you get this. So is it a good unwrap? Let's see. So I have this pole, one plank, and this is the result. No, this is a nightmare. All right. By the way, see this little icon here? Make sure it's selected, like it's active. It's supposed to be blue, depending on your theme, your colors for Blender, but it's supposed to be blue for me. When you do that, when you select one face, it will also select it in the viewport, which is great because we can see those faces in both the UV editor and the 3D viewport. And as you can see, it's a nightmare. Right now, it's just awful. It's not good. It's because Blender could not just unwrap it like that. So now is maybe the moment we can use the smart. Maybe you've seen this one. No, don't. We are going to learn how to do it manually. It's important that you learn this. It's a very good skill to know how to unwrap stuff. By the way, the unwrap we are going to do here might be different in the text version. All right, because unwrapping, there are so many ways to do it. It's okay as long as you have a clean unwrap. It's fine. But it might be slightly different from what we do in the text version right below the video. So Okay, how can we unwrap this? The problem is that Blender tried to just unwrap it without cutting it. By default, he tries to do that. We need to say to Blender, you can cut it there, you can cut it there, and you can cut it there. And we are not going to cut them inside the geometry because we don't want to do that. We don't want to alter the geometry. We just want to say, when unwrapping, you can cut it there, and there, and there, and there. So how can we do that? Well, it's the moment you just try to imagine how you can cut it to unwrap it. And there are so many ways of doing it. What I like to do is do the cuts at the position where we might not see it. Like by default, the camera is like this. So I'm going to create a huge cut right here because this edge is almost always hidden. So I'm going to go into edge mode. So this one, I press 2 on my keyboard, not the numpad, the main keyboard. Or you click on this button and you select this one and you press U again and you're going to choose Mark Seam. And as you can see now, it's red. All right, so it's good. You can move to change to wireframe shading and you see that this one will be cut. And you can stay in this shading actually. How can we cut it even better? I think we can cut it, let me think, there, there, oh, let's not select this one, and there. And actually it's up to you. Really, you can get a perfect result by doing different cuts, but I think this one is going to be fine because this little cap here is just going to open, like if you open like a box like this, it's going to be open and it's still going to be linked to the rest with this edge, all right? And the whole surrounding will be just like you take your cylinder and you unwrap it like that because we did this cut here. And we don't need to do anything below because there is no face here. Okay, so let's mark some seams. So I selected those ones and it looks like that. Okay, cool. What I can do is select all these objects. Small tips, we already saw this one sooner in the previous lesson. Select any part of this one and press Ctrl L. By default, it will select the whole island. You can choose what exactly is being selected here, but by default, it will select the whole island. And here you can unwrap only this part because the unwrap will be applied on what you are selecting. So I'm going to unwrap this one, U, unwrap, and I get this. And it's perfect. See, we get only one island. One island, no distortion, and it's good. We can do the same here, so I'm going to repeat the process. So this, oops, this and this. So it's exactly the same one. Kind of a repetitive task, but anyway. Okay, it's great. We're going to unwrap this one too. Let me check. I'm going to unwrap it like more, yeah, on the back. So now it's really up to you. You can do whatever you want as long as the unwrap is fine. Always test it. Try to guess it, unwrap it. It's wrong, do it again. U, mark seam. By the way, if I selected one I didn't want and mark a seam here, I can remove the seam. So it's not forever. I can just select the one I want to remove seam. I press U and I click on clear seam. All right, so how can I do this one? Let me see. Maybe I can do that, that, and that. Kind of the same pattern, but oriented differently. I can do the same one on the opposite. Let's try to... I don't need the one below because there is no face at the bottom. So yeah, this one is going to be different from the text version. So just those one. If you put a seam here, it's okay. It's not going to be a problem. U, mark seam. All right. I think it's fine, but still let's test it. So Ctrl L to select it. U, unwrap, and let me check. Yeah, it's not bad, but still see. Yeah, I know the problem here. I've created a seam by thinking there was something linking them below, but no. And actually, I think I can just, let me check. If I remove this one, clear seam, I'm just testing here. It's all about testing anyway. Yeah, this one is much better. So yeah, remove this one. It's hard to figure out how it's going to be unwrapped, but it's a great exercise. So I remove this one. You can see like selected. This one is not a seam anymore, and this will result in a good seam because this face, I can show it like that, and this face will be just unwrapped like it's doing this, like that, so quite easy. And the one on the sides will be linked through those edges here and here to this face, and it's the result you can see here, and it's perfect. Let's do the same below. So I'm going to select this, 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 and this. It's exactly the same, all right? No tricks. You, mark seams, and I select everything this time, and I press U, and I press unwrap. And this is my unwrap, and look how good it is. I can also do like selection, island selection here. So I select one, Control L, and I get this, one, Control L, and I get this. This is a great unwrap. All right. And we can do that for the other fences. Oh yeah, by the way, when you select this, as you can see, unwrap, they are like really close to each other. They are against, each one is against the other one, and it's bad. Because when we are going to bake, we're going to bake with a kind of an overflow. Like the bake is going to be larger than the shape. This is for meat mapping issues we can have later. We need to do that for better quality. I can show you maybe, let me check if I can show you. Yes, like this. See here? It's going further, like this. And it's good. The result is going to be better because of that. So we need to separate them a bit, not too much. Anyway, it's not important to do it here, but I want to show you how to separate them. When you click on unwrap, you can add margin here. So at the moment you click on unwrap, don't click on anything else. You get this unwrap menu and you can separate them as much as you want. So put any value. Actually, it's not important at this point. We're going to fix that anyway later. You will see. Okay, cool. Put any margins. We're going to use that later. How to take care of the other ones. So right here, it's what I told you earlier. We should have do the unwrap when there were like linked duplicate. And actually the fences were not even a linked duplicate. So it was a mistake. Anyway, it's not that bad. What we can do here is take this one, duplicate it, place it here, and remove the previous one. And do that for every fences. Yeah, I know it's a bit sad to do that, but it's because I had to show you things in the right order. Always make sure you're deleting the right one. Obviously, you will see that it's not the right one later if you don't do that. And it's not that important. Like if it's not exactly the same position, who cares? It's not going to change anything in the end result. This one here and this one here, like that. All right, did I got it all good? Let me check. I select all the fences. I could have used like the right click on the collection, and it's fine. I can now, so they all have the same position in the UV unwrap, which is bad. This means that every fences will be bake and bake on top and bake on top and bake on top. So it's bad. But what we need to do now is unwrap them all, and to do that, we press U. Unwrap, and as you can see, it's working much better. They are separated. They are way too far from each other. You can change the margin to something much closer. This is like more than enough, and we are done with them. We can move them somewhere over there, and it's fine. All right. We had the floor here. We now have the fences here, and you might think, oh, they might be too close. You can select both of them, see if they are too close. Anyway, we are going to change that later, so it's not that important. Just make sure they are not overlapping so that we can select them easier later in the lesson. So I know my floor is ending right here, so I just add some margin here to be able to change those later. All right, the margin is fine here. I don't know which value I use. Let me check again. I want to make sure you're doing this one fine. So unwrap, I use 0.045 in the margin. You can do it again, 0.045. Let those parameters by default. It might be too big, but we can fix that later, and I just move them here. I know it's going outside, I don't care. We are going to fix that anyway later. All right, next part is going to be... Yeah, we need to do that. Before going further, we are going to separate the emission materials, the objects that have emission materials. Why? Well, because we are not going to bake them. We're not going to bake them because, if you remember from the result, see, it's just like uniform color. It's not like a shading with shadows and lights and stuff like that, reflection, etc. It's just like a full bright color. So we don't need to bake those. It's going to take a huge place in the texture for just one color. We're going to change those in the 3GS. We're going to create a mesh basic material to take care of those. And in the end, we are going even to create our own shader for those. So what you can do now is create another collection. You can call it like emissions. Usually I create like a collection named baked, and I put everything that is supposed to be baked in it. A collection that is named emissions, and I put every emissions object materials, object that have an emission materials in it, but it's up to you to organize yourself. And I'm going to select this one, and this one, and to move them to this collection, well, I can drag and drop them, or I can press M, emission. And now it's fine. And I'm going to make them unselectable. It's mandatory, but it's better so that I'm not selecting them not on purpose. All right, cool, we can move forward. This one is not that hard, except for the lamp. We're going to take care of the poles. You can do it, like you can do the beams, the rope, and the base yourself. So pause the video, try to do it. Anyway, I'm going to do it now. So I'm going to start with the base. As always, switch to the like focus mode. How to unwrap this? So I already have this open at the bottom. So this is not a good unwrap. Well, let me check. The camera is looking by default here. So I'm going to put some seams in the back, like this one, this one, this one, and this one, which is exactly what we did for the poles. All right, I'll let you see that. If you put too much seams, you're gonna get like different parts. See, if I put a seam here and I do mark seam, don't do it, I just want to show you. So I put too much seams, I unwrap, I get this. So this is all around, and this is the top. It's not that bad. When you start, it's okay. We are going to create a huge texture to compensate those kind of mistakes anyway. So it's okay. But if you want to do it right, try to do small, as less island as possible with as less distortion as possible. Yeah, I know that's a lot to take, but that's the idea. So I'm going to do that. All right, see, like this. And I can test this one and do the unwrap, and that's fine. And it's doing this kind of curve because it's the way you can unwrap it. Those faces keep the same size, and it's doing like a tuk, 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 like this. Let's take care of the pole here. How can I unwrap this one? It's exactly the same. I will cut this, this, this. Mark seam. I will do the same here for this one there. So I'm going to unwrap so we have both sides here. This. And I try to put the seams, yeah, see, I'm going to do even better right here. I try to put the seams away from what the camera can see. I know the camera can rotate all around in the final experience, but by default, the camera will look like this. As you can see, I try to put the seams as far away as possible. We didn't remove this one because it's a high pole. Maybe we could have seen it by putting the camera like this. All right, mark seam. I didn't test it because I'm confident. Maybe it's a mistake. And this one, if you remember, there is no cap, so no face here, no face here. So I can just cut the cylinder. By the way, I can show you the result. If you don't cut the cylinder, you get something like that. Very bad. So you need to cut cylinders. Blender is doing his best. No cut. Okay, here is the result. It's not what we want. We're going to do a cut right here. So mark seam. And I select everything and I unwrap. And it's perfect. All right, harder. The lamp frame. Yeah, this one is really hard. Let me show you why it's that hard. See those recesses here? Yeah, it's going to be hard. Actually, don't worry. We are going to have some distortion, but it's gonna be fine. Right now, there are so many ways of handling this one. Usually I create like multiple islands, but I want to show you that creating only one island for this one is fine. I'm going to do a cut that will go from the bottom like this. It will start, I have mouse issues, there. It will go there, there. Maybe I can show you like this, there, there. And then it will follow the shape, there, there. And I'm going to do the smaller opening here for the top. And those parts will just stay inside. And we are going to have some distortion. Let's do it. You will see what I mean by that. So let's go. I'm going to take this one. So it's the opposite to the camera by default. I can show it again. So by default, the camera will look at the scene like that. So I'm going to take this one here. All right. I then take this one and I move up and up, and I open this one to have less distortion on the top. I could have opened like here. Actually, I think it's a good idea to open it here. Let's test. I'm going to open it here. See? Like that. I can show you again. So it's starting there, 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 and I'm doing all around, but not this part. Okay. Final preview, because I want you to have time to do it. I press U and mark seam. I'm not sure, maybe I did a mistake. Let's see the end result. So I select everything, U, unwrap, and you get this, and this is fine. All right? There will be some distortion, especially here. Let me show you this. Here. Because those faces, like what Blender did is, oh, there is no cut. Okay, I will try to move this there, move this here. Don't do it. I just want to show you here, here, and you get something flat. So there is some distortion here. Sometimes it's okay to have some distortion. If you don't have this, you will have like so many islands. Actually, maybe there is a good option. You can't put seams here because they will overlap. Like it's like doing this, and you see that they will overlap. So you cannot put seams here. Maybe there are better solutions, but right now I assume there will be distortion, but it's okay. And we will have a good quality texture. It's gonna be just fine. All right, I like this one. Cool. I can leave this part, and I'm fine with the pole. Again, like for the fences, I did a mistake. It's because I have to remove them. And actually, we are going to have a small problem here, is that we need to keep the emissive lamp inside this one. So what I'm going to do, follow me on this. I need to unwrap this one too. I'm going simply to duplicate this one, but don't forget that we move the lamp inside another emission collection here. So make it selectable, delete this one, this one, this one, this one. So I remove the whole pole here, but also the emission here. Delete. I select this one, this one, this one, this one. I duplicate, not a linked duplicate, just a classic duplicate. I move on the X so that they are perfectly aligned. I can check on the top like this. I rotate them. I use Control to make a perfect rotation of 180 degrees. I move it there, and it's just fine. Let's make sure that the emission is still inside its collection here. So it's great because when you duplicate stuff, they stay inside their collection. So this one is always inside this collection. And our pole here is unwrapped because we took the already unwrapped here. I can make the emission unselectable again. And I can take care of the general unwrap of the poles. So I can select all the poles elements. So this one, by the way, you can use like B and select stuff like this, or you can use like a shift like that, or you can do right click and select object. There are so many ways to do so many stuff in Blender. I'm always learning new stuff. It's crazy. So I select everything, tab. I select everything again. So with A, I mean everything, the first everything was just the pole. All right, select the two pole lights, not the emission part inside. So only the part we unwrapped. U and unwrap. And it's great. And everything has the right proportion. And I'm going to move it, I don't know, maybe somewhere over here. It's fine. I think we have the floor here. What do we have here? Yeah, the fence is here, and now we have the pole light here. Am I right? I'm not sure. Anyway, it's not a problem. Don't worry. We can fix that later. All right. For the portal, it's not that hard. Again, it would have been awesome to have duplicates. We unwrap only one brick and the rest get unwrapped. I'm going to start with I'm going to start with the stairs. So select the stairs here. I'm going to select only one, so the small one to start with. And it's really easy to unwrap. You can do one here and one here, and that's all. It should be enough. You could have done this one and this one, but I prefer to do it here, like on the small edges. You create a seam, so you mark seam, and you unwrap it just to check if everything is fine. Yeah, this one is good. We can change to this one. Same process, it's exactly the same shape but different scale. Mark seam, unwrap. And let's do the big one, slightly harder, slightly. Can you guess? It's this one, this one, this one, and this one. We could have done differently, but I like to do something like that. Yeah, well, looking good. I can do the 3 stairs together, unwrap. Yeah, I get something like that. All right, let's do the bricks, slightly harder. I can just focus on one brick, just to think about it, and then the other one. I'm going to put the seams like in the back, so somewhere over here. Quite sure I can add one here already. Let's not cut this one, so maybe this one, and this one. And actually it's the same. Cubes, I mean boxes, let's say boxes, it's always the same shape. I mean for me, I'm always doing the same shape for boxes, and it looks like that. Like that. Let me show you. It's like this. Because this is the front, so we have less seams on the front and some seams on the back. This is the front. This is the back. All right, I'm happy with this one. I can test it anyway, just to make sure. All right, this is good. No distortion. Maybe you see like some strange shape, but actually here there is no distortion. I can take off all the other ones. So what I'm going to do is select all the bricks like this. It's not that long. We can select all the inside here. So let's start with this. I took this one just to see how I did it previously. So I mark seam. I can then select all the inside. So see, I'm not selecting exactly on it. What I do is that I select this part and Blender automatically understands, okay, you want this edge. This edge, this edge, this edge, this edge, this edge, this edge. Yeah, I don't have like magic shortcuts to select everything, sorry. I mean all the right things. This one, this one, this one. Yeah, I don't need to take this one because it's already open here. Mark seam. And the final thing, let me check. Yeah, it's exactly the same thing. So I can do yeah, I can do like this one, this one, this one, this one. All right, it's a race. Let's see who finish first. Tell me who win on Discord or on Twitter. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Don't forget the one like close to the one we already did. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one. I'm going to repeat this one as many times as I can. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Nope. this one, this one. You, Maxim, did you finish first? Good job. Don't slow the video. Alright, I think it's fine. Not totally sure I got it right, but it looks great. Let's try to unwrap all the bricks together. And yeah, they're all the same. Those ones are slightly different. They look like, we say gant in French, muffle? I don't know. You know, the thing you put on your hand in winter. But it's fine, because it's just those ones that are open. Yeah, I think it's good. Great. So we have the bricks, we have the stairs. We need to take care of the rocks. And I think the rocks are the last one we need to do. Let me check. Oh, we didn't do the logs. I forgot the logs. We can do them after anyway. Oh, by the way, let's take care of the portal. So let's move the portal somewhere. So select everything. You can right click on portal and do select objects. So the stairs plus the bricks. Go into edit mode. Unwrap. Let's keep the default like unwrap value. It's 0.045. I think it's fine. Anyway, we're going to move stuff. And let's move it somewhere else. Actually, I don't know where I have room. Did we take already this one or not? Yeah, I think we did. You know what? Let's move it outside. Anyway, we need to move stuff outside. Keep like kind of square stuff. Always like a quarter of the UV unwrap and put it somewhere else. You have a lot of room as long as they are not like on top of each other. Let me see. We choose this one, this one. Ah, we have room here. Yeah, anyway, let's move it outside. It's fine. And if you did it differently, it's fine too. Let's take care of the rocks. So, how can we unwrap such a huge, such a complex geometry? We could have done it. Like, see, I can do like that and try to guess the best way. Should I continue here or not? Well, it's up to you. We could have done that. For every rock, it would have taken like edges, especially for the small one. We could have let them like this. Let me show you what you get if you do that. Unwrap, you get something like that. It's not that bad, but there are some distortion here. Like it's kind of taking this rock like this and flat it like that. Not a big fan. Alright, I already told you like the tips here. We're going to select all the rocks. Make sure one is outlined, or the shortcuts won't work. You need one rock to be outlined, active. Sorry, so you can see the outline is brighter. Go into edit mode, select everything again. So you need to select all the faces you want to unwrap. So as you can see, we have some rocks here too. Press U, and we are going to do the smart UV project, just like that. We have access to some parameters. We can just add some margin. I don't know, maybe 0.02. Let's see. And we get something like that. And it's great. It's not perfect. We get some isolated faces like that, like poor little island. But we just won like 30 minutes of work, and it depends on how much time you got today, but I like this one, this solution. So I'm going to stick with that. So you can still tweak those. See, I use 0.02, so it's the margin. And I'm going to move that here, slightly on top, because I think I have room here. I might be wrong. I already forgot if we have room here. Anyway, we can fix that later. Even if you have some things overlapping, it's okay. We are going to select them and move them, and it's going to be fine. All right, we are almost done. We need to take care of the trunks, the logs, and the axe. All right, let's go. So the trunks, can you guess? First, what I'm going to do is separate the top. I'm not going to link it to one of the faces. It's not very interesting here. I'm just going to move into faces mode, select the top part of the logs. We don't have anything below. They are open. I can show you like this. They are open, so only the top part, like this, like this, like this, and marking. And because they are end guns, it will do all around. If you had like triangle fans, it would have been harder because you would have need to select Imagine we have triangles going to the center. We would have need to select those like that. Oops. Like that. But it's okay. We only have 4 trunks, so it's okay. Those are n-gons. If you two have n-gons, you can just create like that. But we also need to open those because there are rings. If I try to unwrap this ring, see the result, we get this thing. This is not good because this is smaller than this, but they are supposed to be like square. See, this is a square or rectangle, but parallel sides. And here we have some kind of trapeze. Not sure of the English word, but we say trapeze in French. So it's not the right shape. So we need to open them. And I'm going to open them on the side that we can't see by default when opening the experience. So the camera is over here, like there. So this is the opposite of the camera, and I can put seams here. And I can unwrap as always, and I get something really cool. Great. Next one, the logs. I'm going to focus only on one logs, just to think about it. So it's open here. How can I do it? It's up to you. Me, I think I'm going to do it there. See? So those faces, the 2 faces I'm pointing right now, are going to be merged, linked. And this part will be open, and we will get some kind of unwrap of those 3 faces. So it's fine. Let me check. Unwrap. Yeah, it's pretty funny shape. Let's do the same for the other ones. I'm going to focus mode. What did I do already? Oh yeah, this. Yes, I'm going to repeat this. Alright, I give you some time to see what I did. I only took the curves and apply a seam on it, and they are open below, so it's just fine. Alright. Mark seams, and we unwrap. It's great. We can take care of the axe, so I'm going to take care of the head and the handle separately. How can we take care of this one? Let me check. Oh, we can do something quite funny. We can like open it like this. Yeah, I'm going to cut it on the cutting part, so on the edges, on the edge, sorry. And let me think. Maybe like that. Like that. Maybe like this. Try not to go too fast. Like this, like this, like this. Alright. We have too many polygons here. We could have optimized a little, but it's not like 8 polygons, 8 faces. It's not a problem for WebGL. Millions, yeah, why not? It might be a problem. 8 is fine. Alright, as you can see, I did the usual pattern for boxes on the top, but slightly different on the bottom. I'm not sure it was the right thing to do, so I'm going to test, but I think it's just fine. Yeah, let's test this one. So mark seam, select everything, unwrap. Ah, so this one is cut. Yeah, it's looking great actually. I don't think we have a lot of distortion. We might have, yeah, I think we are going to have some distortion here. So I'm going to add 1 here and 1 here. All right. This is creating some distortion. I'm quite sure of it. It was fine. I'm just like trying to get something really perfect. Unwrap. Okay, now there is no distortion. Actually, I would have let this distortion because it's not a huge one, and less seams might look better in the end result. But I don't know. Let's try this. It's fine. And this part is separated. Yeah, because it's like fully separated. Yeah, I'm good with it. Let's take care of the handle. This is a box. This is the usual box. I'm going to cut it at the bottom. Remember the shortcut? You click on one edge, you select the end edge, and you press Ctrl and click. The first one, Ctrl click, and it will select everything between the shortest path. You mark seam, and I'm going to do the usual box by doing that. Alright, let me show you. Like this. Mark seam, marks him, and we unwrap. Some distortion here, all right, because it's not like a clean box, but I think it's fine. This is the kind of distortion I'm okay with. See, it's almost a square. This is a perfect rectangle. This is a almost perfect rectangle. Let me see this one. This one is following well. You can just check those faces, see if you've done some mistake. See, it's almost a rectangle. Yeah. So we have some distortion, but it's fine. It's slight distortion, but at least it's only one island. You have to balance between those and choose the right solution. Or you can create, I don't know, like 3 different islands. It's going to take quite a lot of room in the texture, and you might see those seams in the end result. Anyway, I have the axe and my axe. The logs, where are those? The trunks. Oh yeah, so the trunks, the axe. Oops, it's control. Yeah, it's quite strange, but right now we have to press control to select many things. It's not a shift, it's control to select multiple things in the outliner. I can unwrap everything and I get this. And this is great. Yeah, I like it. Let's move it. So it's going to be... yeah. Where do I have room? Maybe there? Yeah, let's put it there. I think I have nothing here. Alright, cool. Where are we at? Okay, it's good, it's good. What we are going to do now is place everything inside that square. And it's quite a hard exercise, and it's quite a funny exercise too, you will see why. So select everything, make sure you're not selecting things you're not supposed to select, like the emission inside the lamps. So those ones are not selected, the portal is not selected, and the lights and camera are not selected. To do that, short tips, I just deactivate the selection on those. All right. And then I press A and everything is selected. Great. Tab, select everything if it's not already the case, and you get something like that. And this is the funny part. Actually, we need to do a slight change before. We are going to make everything fit inside this square. We could have pressed U and don't do it. U and unwrap, and yeah, it's fitting. But everything got mixed. And I like to keep things like grouped in different areas of the unwrap, because if at a point you think, okay, I don't want the fences anymore, and you remove those fences like that, it's okay. You now have more room inside your UV and you can create other objects and stuff like that. If everything is mixed like that and you remove, don't do it, it's just an example, you remove those faces and you get this. So you will have to put potential new objects in the rooms here, rebake, get some issues. And it's also because I'm a maniac, I like to keep things organized. Yeah, I know. Anyway, let's do that. It's going to be fun. What we can do now, and you might think, have thought of it, is that you don't know if the proportions are right. Maybe when we resize, I don't know, the logs, in the end, the room taken is much bigger than, I don't know, maybe the floor. We need to make sure everything is proportional, at least close. Like this is not supposed to be too big, this is supposed to be bigger. We need to make sure of that. So how can we do that? We can display the stretches. There is a solution. So to get this, you will see what I'm trying to tell here. Go into this button here and check display stretch area. All right, I do it again. You go inside this button here. Maybe your thing is too small or too big. By the way, you have to be inside the edit mode. So you select everything like that. Select all the faces and you go into that menu and you select display stretch area. If you can't see it, it's probably because you have a different version of Blender than me, and you can find it. Let me check. I think you can find it, like, see this menu here? There is a slight arrow, or you can press N, go inside the view, and I think it's going to be here. And there is something else. I think you might have like a display button somewhere. If you can see a display button, probably on the top right corner, but check the other corners, click on it and you will be able to find this option here. All right. I hope I covered all the versions. And as you can see, we now have colors according to the size. The idea here is to finish with the same color. And there is something strange here because see those? They're supposed to have the same color. Because we unwrap them at the same moment. See, they all have the same color. Some differences here because it's a smart unwrap and we have some distortion, so it's fine. Here, we didn't do them at the same moment. Yeah, let's fix that. So first, I want to fix this. I don't know what happened here. I'm going to select all the portal I did. All the portal unwrap, I select one and I unwrap it again. And now they are all blue. I see this one? So strange. Or you can do it anyway. It's going to be better anyway. So just move it like this, move it there again. Select one face of this one, press Ctrl L, and now resize it so it's kind of blue like his buddies. This one and this one. All right, and you can do that for every other groups. So the rocks, we can't do much about it. The pole lights, see how good it is to have organized everything inside the collections. So we have a lot of distortion for the lights here. Yeah, it's because we did an unwrap of the beam, the lamps, and the base differently. So you can select all of them and redo the unwrap. And now it's better. Still, we have a lot of distortion for this one, so it's not good. What I can do is simply select this one and see if it's supposed to be, yeah, it's supposed to be bigger, like this. I'm going to select this one too, Ctrl L, make it bigger. Not too big. Anyway, we have distortion, so you're not going to get the perfect result anyway. Let's just have some kind of blue tint, and it's going to be fine. There is a huge distortion here. Oh yeah, it's on the cap. Yeah, this one gets really stretched. So that was a bad idea. What I did here, we can fix that, or we can edit it that way. Let it that way. All right, we are going to create a huge texture to compensate these kind of mistakes. So it's kind of blue. It will do the trick. I'm going to place them roughly here because I'm a maniac. I just want to fix that already. I can move this here like this, like this, like this in a rough square. I know it's not a perfect square, but it's okay. I can move this one maybe here and this one maybe here. Because I like to work in already squared areas. It's gonna be much easier after. All right, this one is cool. Oh, by the way, we have to put it, I think it was on the top left corner over here. I select everything. Let's see what we get here. So inside each one, we get kind of the same result. Maybe not this one, so select those. See, they are more greenish. I'm going to make them bigger. So for each area, you get kind of the same color. And it's fine now. But for each area, what we need to do now is make sure that all of them have kind of the same color. That would mean they have the same proportions. There are shortcuts to do that, but we are not going to use them because it's going to change the size of each one individually and they are going to overlap. So we need to do that manually. Okay, let's go. I don't know if we are going to try to get something green or blue, so we can just try and resize them. So this one is green. Now that it's bigger, it gets blue. All right. So this one here, let's try to fix that. Yeah, see, more like that. Changing one will change the other. So it's like a ping pong. You have to do this one, this one, this one, this one, until it's kind of the same color for everything. Okay, this is very strange. I don't know what's happening here. We can just select those, Control L. Yeah, and it's fine. That's pretty good. Yeah, I know I messed up with my layout, but now I have good proportions. All right, I give you some time, pause the video as always, and get back to the video once you're happy with the result. Okay, cool. Next part is going to have something kind of squarish. We need to make everything fit inside those, but let's not do this mistake, so don't do it. It need to fit, and I just messed up with the proportion. So what I recommend is to ignore this area here and just place stuff so that it's in a square. All right. I always start with the big ones, like this, like this. This is a small one. I'm going to take the rocks because they are big and put them here. All right. Those are fine. Maybe what I can do is just take maybe the little ones here and make sure they fit like that. And this is now a Tetris game. You just need to make sure that everything fits here. So what I recommend is to just like go on Spotify or YouTube and start the Tetris song, and you're going to spend like few minutes, maybe half an hour, just making sure everything fits right. So use that Tetris song. It's going to format your brain to do it, you will see, and just place stuff right here. So for you it might be different because you might have done things quite differently from me. So it's up to you, really. Maybe try to do the same way as me. Maybe try to do your own way. Anyway, if you do mistakes, don't worry. We are going to use a huge texture, so it's going to look fine anyway. I think so. Just make sure nothing is overlapping and try to make things fit in squares. Can I make everything fit here? I don't think so. Yeah, see those? They are way too high. Like if there is an imaginary line here, I'm just going to do that. This is the part where being a maniac might be a problem, because you will want everything to be perfectly aligned and it's impossible. Oh, by the way, there are plugins to do that. And I've been using plugins now, but you have to pay for them. And I want everything we use now to be free. So we are not going, and we need to learn it anyway, so we are not going to use any plugins. I don't know how much I paid for those plugins. Anyway, just search for, on Google or anything, just search for Blender, Unwrap, plugins, and you will see that there are many Unwraps plugins. Maybe not many, but there are some. All right. It's going to be hard to keep like a square shape here, so maybe this one I will like spread it like here, there. I can actually select everything and just lower the size, put it here, so that I can see the final thing here. I can actually go in full Blender. Over this area, press Ctrl Space, and here you can focus much better on what you're doing. So I'm going to make this fit here. Let me check if I did some mistake. Yes, I did. All right, this is good. I can get those one much closer, like maybe here. Always keep some space between. Don't forget that when baking, it's going to not overlap, but overflow a little. Yeah, that's it. It's going to overflow. Those one are a bit too close. Maybe I can place this one here. Here I'm going way too much into details, but it's okay. This is actually the part I like to do. It's relaxing. Just do that. You forget about problems and you just move stuff, make things fit nicely in every part like this. You go there because you're small enough, and you can go somewhere. It's getting tight there, but I think it's okay. I'm trying to get like a nice line here. We're just doing some talking here because you're doing your version, I'm doing mine. All right, it's getting good. Where do I have room? Maybe there. Yeah, it's fine. You give me some room. I know you're probably thinking, yeah, you should put this one here and here and here. Do your thing. I do mine. All right, this is good. Yeah, this is good. Let's put those. I went way too much into details here. I should not have done that. So anyway, let's put those here. Yeah, there is a trick here. You can maybe like 1 on 2. Yeah, just like that. One like that. One like that. One like that. Okay. That's good. Ah. That's a problem. Maybe I can put it there. Yeah, this one is going to fit better. Always use Control L to select the island. Ah, this one doesn't fit. Make room for this little guy. Alright, yet again I'm going way too much into details because I'm not sure everything will fit anyway. That's a mistake, but anyway, let's see what I get with that. And I have this wrong to make all of this fit. Did I do a mistake? No, I think it's fine. Like this. I'm going to keep those together. I mean those trunks here, like the cap of the trunks. Oh, by the way, those are too close. Yeah, I did a small mistake here. Because when I resized them, it was like too big, so the margin is now wrong. What you can do is separate them manually, or you can do like another unwrap, make sure that it's fine. I'm going to move them here. Yeah, it's not that long. You can just do like this, then like this. Don't break them. Obviously, I just broke one. Yes, I did. Be careful with that. Like this. I know it takes time, but it's relaxing. All right. Yeah, I need to get rid of this one. Like this. Like this. Oh, can I make this one fit here? No, it doesn't fit. It's okay. Going to put that here. Those are way too close. Yeah, like this. Looking good. Okay, cool. And we need only to put this one here, and we have the right room to do that. So it's perfect. We will actually have some room left, but it's okay. Because if you want to add an object, you will be happy to find some room left inside your unwrap. So it's always good to keep just some room. It's not that bad. It might get handy later. So we put this one here. Let's not lose too much time. It's already a quite long video. Like this. I think those are two different ones. Yeah. So I can put this here. Yeah, it's okay. I should actually like keep one corner. Yeah, I can put this one here. This one here. It's getting a bit messy here. I mean, fingers are getting separated, not inside perfect squares, but it's fine. By the way, you can have like oblique stuff like this. It's okay. You don't need to align them. This one, I don't know, where do I have room? Yeah, here and there. And I think it's great. Yeah, let's separate this one a bit more on the y-axis. And that's it. I know that was long. Maybe you need more time. Anyway, you get something like that, it's fine. I don't care about this part because maybe I'm going to add an object I forgot. I can use this room. So it's fine, it's okay. Next part is about baking. Yay, finally. So, by the way, don't forget to save. I didn't save once from the beginning, so don't forget to save. It's important. About the baking, so you are going to use this UV area to take care about the texture, the final baking texture. You will see how. First, you need to create a new one. So leave the edit mode. So this is our baked portal, baked scene. Unwrapped scene. Leave the edit mode. So you don't need to select anything, it's okay, but if they are selected, it's fine. Click on new, and this will create a new image. And you will have to choose some parameters for this image. It's the moment it gets kind of tricky, and this is the part where most tutorial about baking get it wrong. It's about color management and stuff like that. Hang on, I'm going to try to explain everything. First, for the name, it's not important. It's something that will show up inside Blender. You can use simply baked. If you have multiple textures, like for the floors on 3GS Journey website, I have like floor 1 baked, floor 2 baked, stuff like that. But here we have only one. For the size of the texture, we are going to make a huge texture. Usually you don't need that much, like maybe multiply by 2. This one, 2048, is enough, usually. But to make sure that it's working for everyone, we are going to do even more. We are going to use 4096 pixels. It's huge. Usually you don't need that much, but it's going to be fine because we will only have this texture in the scene in the WebGL, and all computer will be able to handle it. Even if you have a bad computer, one texture that big is fine. I don't recommend using higher because some devices cannot handle higher than this. Some smartphones, old smartphones. So I recommend using this. For the color, you're going to use white. Why white? Well, it's because you might see, so it's the background color by default. You are going to bake stuff, and in the background there will be white. Sometimes you can kind of have a glimpse of this color in the final result. And it's better to have white because it will look like a reflection. All right, so I recommend to use white. Eventually some color like mood color of your scene, but every time I use white, and it's better this way. We don't need alpha, all right, because it's just one texture without alpha. For the generated tab, we're going to use blank because you can generate like a grid, stuff like that, UV grid, color grid. It's just to have some kind of preview, see how this texture is being applied on your geometry. We don't need those. We just need this color all over here, and then we are going to bake on it. We are going to check this 32-bit float, and we are going to talk about this later, or maybe now. Anyway, let's talk about this a bit later. You will see why. This is important and this is tricky. You will see why. Tiered is to make it like a repeat. We don't need it to repeat itself, so no tiered. All right, check you have the same parameters, and let's go. And we get this. Zoom out. Zoom out, zoom out. It's because it's a huge texture, so by default it's 4000 by 4000, so you have to zoom out. This is our texture, and we are going to bake our scene inside that texture. So first thing we can do is save that texture. And this is kind of a hard concept inside Blender, is that textures can live inside the Blender file like this. Like we could have continued like this and not save the image in a separate file. But I want to show you that it's totally possible. To do that, what you can do is save it. So I'm going to use image, save as, and I'm going to put it inside the same folder as my blend file. All right, I think I'm in the right folder. I can see the blend file because it's in image mode, so I cannot see the other files, but here there is my blend file. It's important, put it inside the same folder or eventually a subfolder. And for the type, we are going to use HDR. And that might sound strange. Wait a minute, are we going to use this HDR inside 3GS? I thought 3GS cannot handle this, and you're right. We are not going to use this HDR image. This, what we are doing here, the texture, the image we are creating here, it's kind of like a temporary texture. And we use 32 float texture. if you remember from the checkbox we did when we created this texture. This is very important. What we are doing now is we are saving like a HDR, like very precise information about the renders we are going to do. And we are saving not just some kind of JPEG with bad quality limited to those colors, or PNG limited to less limited but limited. We are saving like the full data, almost full data of lighting, color, and stuff like that. Then we are going to convert this into a JPEG file with like web-friendly colors. And it's important because we need to use that in order to apply some color managements on it. I know it's getting hard, but this is how you can get like the exact same colors from the render into 3GS. If you don't do that, it will work, but the colors will seem off. And your client will say, this is the render from Blender, this is the WebGL experience. It's not the same. You told me it was going to be the same. And you will try to tweak the colors and it's not going to work exactly the same. So the technique I'm going to show you, you need to first save a HDR version of your baked texture, and then we are going to convert it using Filmic, denoise, stuff like that you will see later. So let's go. First you can rename it. I'm going to use baked.hdr. So make sure you are using HDR. There are also some other types that can handle this. Like I think OpenXR EXR can handle it, and PNG can handle like precision values like that, but I'm not sure you will get all the data. So what I recommend, it's HDR, and you save it inside the same folder. What we did now is that the textures is not anymore inside the blend file. It doesn't live inside the blend file. It lives on the side. When you want to share your file, let me show you, is it the right one? Yes, it's the right one. If I want to share my file, I'm going to send the HDR and the blend file. The blend one is just kind of backup in case this file gets corrupted. We talked about this in previous lessons. So you just share those. If you share only the portal blend file, the user will be able to open it, but the image will be missing. All right, so share those. By the way, this one is going to get huge. All right, when we are going to add some baking in it, we see that it's going to be like a pretty big texture, because all the data is being kept inside of it. And in the end, don't worry, we are going to have our JPEG file sRGB, and it's going to be the right colors. All right, cool. Let's go. First, we are going to bake each object, but we need to tell Blender in what texture it should bake those objects. You might say, well, there is only one texture. Bake it inside that texture. No, it's not like that. You have to say, bake it inside that texture, because we can have multiple textures, which is the case for the homepage of 3GS Journey. I have multiple levels, a texture for each level. So I have to say, okay, bake this one on this texture, bake this one on this texture. So we want to say, I don't know, maybe the grass to be baked inside that texture. But it's not done on the object itself. It's going to be done on the material. All right. So to do that, hang on. We need to change one area or create a new one. You can create a new one. You know what? I'm going to try to create a new one here. Yeah, it's going to be fine. So this is the final render. I'm going to change this one to shader editor. By the way, select the grass. All right, you select the grass. The floor. The floor has a grass material, and create a new area or use an existing area. Keep the baking here. And change it to shader editor. And this is the node version of this material. Not much to say. You will see that it's exactly the same parameters here and there. When we change, I don't know, this color here, see the result? It's looking great actually. I like this color, but it's looking differently. So these are the same parameters, and you saw that this one changed. I'm not going to do a lesson about nodes because I'm not good enough with nodes, and also because it's not the purpose of the lesson, but still we need this part. We can hide this sidebar by doing N. All right. Make sure this is checked. Very important. By default, it's supposed to be checked, but I had some students telling me that they had to check it. So check use nodes. Here, what you're going to do is create a new node. Don't worry, it's going to be quite simple. create a new node by pressing Shift A while hovering this part. If you do it here, it's going to create like, I don't know, object. If you do it here, it's going to create nodes. Follow me. And I'm going to do texture, image texture, like this. You can zoom on it a little. You can actually open it by using a control space. I mean, making full Blender by doing control space. And here, you're going to choose, using this little menu here, the bake texture. I repeat, you created this one, so I can do it again. Shift A, texture, image texture. You put it anywhere. And here you choose baked. And that's all. It's okay. But make sure it's selected. It's the active one. Yeah, this is important. If you click outside, it's not active. You can't see the outline on it. And now I can see the outline on it. Let's leave this. It's important. You have to activate it. It has to be the active one. It's because if there are multiple textures inside that node, totally possible for material purpose, the one being active will be the one in which it will be baked. All right, so you make sure you select the one in which you want to bake. So this is our bake texture as a node. You just select it. No, I'm not going to link it to anything. I just need it to be here and selected. And that's all. I know it's strange. I think Blender should improve this. I don't have better solutions still. At a point you know it's work like this, it's fine. All right, by the way, save. I don't save enough. We are almost there. What we need to do now is select the floor if it's not already the case. By the way, if you select something else, you will see that the node is changing here. So it's the active object materials that you can see here. So I select the grass. This is the one I want to bake first. You go into the Render Properties tab. And here there is a Bake section at the bottom. And here you can choose what you want to bake. And the Bake tool is really powerful. By the way, if you can't see the bake option here, it's probably because you're not using cycles. You're supposed to be in cycles since the previous lessons, so make sure you're using cycles. Go into the bake section and you can choose to bake ambient occlusion, to bake just some stuff. There are many parameters. We are not going to see all those parameters because we can do much more than just baking the way we do here. We can bake normals and stuff like that. Let's not do that. First, I just want you to, well, the margin, it's the overflow that is going to happen when baking. You can let it to 16 pixels. It's going to be fine, I think. Maybe we can change it if things are overlapping. And change the clear image, uncheck it. This, if it's checked, when you bake something, it will erase everything here. But we are going to bake object by object, and we don't want to erase everything every time. We want to bake the floor, then the fences, and without deleting everything. So just uncheck this part. Also, you can change the render sampling. We don't need much because it's going to be a huge texture and we are going to fix the noise anyway. So here in the render, just change to 128 or 266. I'm going to use a smaller one. You should use like 256. All right, it's going to be more than enough. Me, I'm going to use smaller so that I can finish the lesson faster. Is everything good? Texture, grass selected. We change the sampling. We uncheck the clear image and you click on bake and you wait. You have the bar here that tells you the progress. And I'm going to do a magic tricks. It's going to go to the end now. Ready? And that's it. Almost. Yeah, done. It's because you need this magic snap. All right, the baked should have worked, and maybe you can see something here, but not me. This is a bug. All right, Blender, I mean, I think it's a bug, but sometimes Blender doesn't update yet. If you can't see anything in this baked texture, let's fix that. By the way, you can see the progress at the bottom, but yeah, it might be long because it's a huge texture. The bigger the texture, the longer it will take, all right? And you can reduce the sampling if you can't wait for hours. So why can't we see our flow here? It's supposed to be there, but we can't see anything. It's a bug. What you can do is go into Image, click save. So to open this, you can click on this small arrow here or press N. Go inside the image view tab, press save. It's going to save in the same file we said before, so bake.htr, and you press refresh. And here you go. All right, it worked. This is what you got. And it's looking good. So for you, if you use more sampling, you won't see that much noise here. A bit less. Still, you probably can see some noise. And we're going to fix that. And we are kind of sad because it was supposed to be fixed already, but still we can see it. So we are going to fix that. This part looks a bit strange. Yeah, I don't know why we can't see the bottom. Yeah, it's because of the portal. So yeah, everything is fine. I should have put it like more at the edge, but it's okay. I hope this part is fine. Yeah, it's okay. Okay, cool. And we can move forward. We are going to do the fences. So we select the fences. You can use the collection to select them much faster. As you can see, by default, it selected the fences material. So it's the wood material. And we do the same process. We can do Shift A, texture. So you have to hover this part, image texture. And here we choose the bake. By the way, you can also duplicate. So you take this one. So I selected the grass. I select the bake node. I do Control C. I go into the fences, and I do Control V. And we just copy it. So it's slightly faster. And because it's the same material, they all have it now. So let's go. You select the fences. And I think you can just press bake. Let's go. And you can see the progress here. And I'm going to do a magic trick again. Ready? A bit early, but it's fine. And now it's working. So it seems like I did a mistake. Let me check. Save. Update. There is something wrong. Oh, never mind. It's still baking. So I did a huge mistake here. It's okay to save while it's baking. You need to wait for every object to be baked. The percentage you can see at the bottom, sorry, my bad, I forgot about this, is for the current object being baked. You can keep using Blender at this time, just don't change stuff. There will be change inside the baked version, so you're going to do some mistake. Anyway, you need to wait for the end of all the objects you ask for to be baked. You can have a preview, like if I select all the fences, make sure you're not moving anything. I go into edit mode, I select everything, I can see that those are the things being baked. And right now, I only have those done. So you need to wait for all the fences to be baked. So for you, it might take a little longer. If you have a good computer, obviously it's going to be faster. Let's wait for the end of this one. I think it's the last one. Or maybe there are two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we need 2. So one more. Done. We can save it if you want. It's not that important, but you can save it. And you can continue like this, and it's whatever you want. Let's take care of the trunks. So for the trunks, you select everything. The trunks already have the wood material, so we don't need to add this one, and we just need to bake. All right? So I'm going to pause the video here. You just bake stuff again and again and again. You select the rock. I can show it again. This one needs the node, so you add the node. It was already copied, which is why I just had to press Command V, Control V on Windows, and you bake. And you bake everything. Let me see if I forgot something. Yeah, you have the metal parts. So this part here, and you bake. And you can bake everything like that. All right, so take care of all the objects like this. Don't forget the accender, stuff like that. Change all the materials, add the nodes. If you forgot one, you will get an error. All right, if you get an error here, like let's say I forgot this, I try to bake this one. No active image found in material. It's because I need to create an active texture in it, and now I can bake it. All right, so snap, and that's it. We have our baked texture. It's looking pretty good. You can save it. By the way, you can also just hover this area. Like if you don't have the sidebar, so press N to hide the sidebar. You can just press Alt S. So you can see it here. Yeah, it's worked. So Alt S, and it will save this this file in the file you created. So baked.hr. By the way, let's see how big it is. Yeah, see, it's pretty big. We cannot use that inside Three.js, obviously. We could have created a JPEG file and ready to go for Three.js, but as I said earlier, we use this HDR texture to save all the data in order to process it, to do some color management on it. So, let me check. Yeah, everything seems fine. So you should have less noise than me. This looks a bit too dark. I wonder why. Oh, it's the outside. So always check everything. This one looks nice. This is overlapping. So here we have a problem. Should I fix it? Let me try to guess which part is it. So those are the fences. Those are the logs. So it's supposed to be... let's use this. Yeah, okay. Let's use this tool. So you make sure this one is selected. And this is this one. Oh, snap. Let's see how bad it is. Okay, it's fine. We can't see much of them. All right, they are kind of hidden here. So it's not a huge problem. Oh, by the way, they are overlapping. So many mistakes here. If you want to redo it, well, I can show you. You can redo it quite easily. You just move those a little further away. So this one too, let's not make other mistakes. They're way too close. Yeah, I did some mistake here. So yours is maybe fine, but I want to show you how to fix those kinds of mistakes. So this is fine. I know that this one, and this one need to be rebake. So those are the one concerned by the rebake. All right, make sure to check which one needs to be rebake, because those have moved. Even if this one was fine, it's not in the same place in the UV unwrap, so we need to move it. And this one anyway was bad because this one was overlapping. And this is close, but fine. I'm going to keep this one, it's okay. And we need to rebake those four here. So those two trunks and those logs. So we can just leave the edit mode, select those, and rebake. And don't check clear image, it's going to clear the whole image, all right? I know that it's going to be quite a mess here, but it's okay, as long as the concerned faces have their UV unwrap and baked version in the texture, it's just fine. So I selected those, and I just press bake again, and it's going to bake on top of this, and it's going to be fine, all right? I'm going to stay with you on this one because it's supposed to be quite fast. No need to use my magic snap to go to the end. You see that this one has been baked, so we now have two, but anyway, this one is fine. This one too, so this one is now fine. We need those two here, so those are the logs here. So it did usually it does like from top to bottom, so it did the trunks first, and then the logs are in the trunks, so I guess it's at the end. All right, and now it's fine. So yet again, we can save. You can see that it's not saved with this little star here. By the way, if you try to leave Blender without saving those files, Blender will tell you, are you sure you want to do that? So you'll be fine. So you save Blender, you save those files. If you have multiple files, go through those different files and save them. And now it's fine. All right, cool. So we have a lot of noise, but I hope it's going to be fine. If you use a better sampling than me, it should be okay. You can still see the noise, but it should be okay. Anyway, we are going to fix that. So how can we export this image to be then used inside 3GS, because right now we can't. We have multiple issues. First, the colors. Check those colors. They don't look like the right colors. Can I get you the... Let me check. Yeah, this is what we are supposed to have. Look at those beautiful colors. It's just good colors. It feels good, smooth, like some kind of grayish, but not too much. And here is what we have, like it's all burned out. It's not just because of the HDR, there is another problem. So this is the first problem. The problem is that, yeah, I can show you exactly what's happening here. There is no color management being done. I'm going to do like a quick render, so not a huge quality. I'm going to change the scale. Don't do it. I mean, you can do it if you want. Change the scale to like 50%. I'm going to do a render. It's not going to look awesome, but it's going to be more than enough. And I want to show you what's happening with those colors here. So this is actually not bad. Yeah, it's going to be fine. So these are good colors and these are not. And it's because Blender is using a color manager named Filmic. Filmic just handles the colors. So it handles like a huge data of colors that go not from 0 to 1 but more. I mean, it's just take like this kind of raw values. We can't see them, but Filmic is taking this kind of raw values and just give you a good looking result with good looking colors, and you get this good looking thing. You can see that by changing. Let me see if I can just like move this on the side. Yes, like this. So it's very small, but I'm going to manage. You can do it if you want. Just want to see both at the same time. And you can go into, let me check, where is it? Color management. So I'm inside the render properties, color management. And if you want to see the result without Filmic, you can change view transform to standard. And here is the wrong colors. So this is the initial render, but then Blender uses Filmic to provide you something like that. So the problem here is that Filmic is not applied on the baked. All right, this is the first problem. And this is why most people get the baking colors wrong. They are using just the raw standard render and don't apply Filmic on it. I'm going to show you how to apply Filmic on it. So I can close this one. I don't need it anymore. All right, let's lower this one. Another problem, well, obviously it's that noise. See how bad is it? By the way, when I do a render, see this render? So we have noise, noise, noise. And once it's done, see this one? It's smooth. This one, look, it's smooth. This one, wait, it's smooth. The denoiser is being applied on each square you can see it here, and it looks really good. I have like a bad sampling and still it looks pretty good. I got some problems here, there, because I need to improve the sampling. Still the denoiser is doing a great job. Here, no denoiser, so we need to fix that too. And the third issue is obviously that currently we have an HDR image. It's huge, it's not supported by 3GS. We need to fix that. I mean, it's huge. Its weight is huge, and we need to fix that in order to use it inside 3GS. And we also need like a sRGB encoding. Remember that? It's just like a color space that optimize what you see between dark and light colors. It's just better to use sRGB images. So that's a lot of issues, and we are going to fix all of them using a tool, a crazy tool, like so good inside Blender, named the compositor. So choose one of your area. You can create another one. Yeah, I know that's a lot of areas. I'm going to change this one, and I'm going to change it to compositor because I don't need anymore the shader one. All right, the compositor lets you do compositions. Yeah. To activate it, click on Use Nodes. And now you can see the default compositor. The compositor is about what you get being output inside the render. When you do a render, I can show you it again. I do a render, I get the scene. Now to get this render, I'm using this compositor and I'm getting the same result. So it's not an issue. By default, this is the output. So it's what you get inside the render inside that window. Here, when you press F12, you get this. So this is the output. This is the node output. By the way, it's nodes, as you can see. Blender uses nodes, like it's really good stuff, and it uses for Compositor too. And this is just like a node telling you take the scene and you render that scene. And you send it to the render output, like this. That's all. So this is the default one. When you do a render, it renders the scene. Okay, but we are going to use the composer to do something else. We are going to ask the composer to take this image, to apply a denoise on it, to apply filmic on it, and to output it inside the render. All right, we are not going to render the scene. We are going to render our texture through different nodes. Let's go. Yeah, that's it. So first, I'm going to move this one out. All right. Then here, I'm going to increase it like that so you can see everything. I'm going to create a new node here. So I press Shift A. Can I get those? No, I can't have the shortcuts here. Sorry. So I press Shift A. And I go into image. Where is the image? Input image. Yeah, that's it. Input image. And I can also use the search and write image and use image. All right, here I can choose the image by using this little menu here. You can increase it if you want, like this. And I can choose the bake image. If you can't see the image here, like it's white, don't worry, it will work. But if you want to see the preview here, it might bug like on some version of Blender. Save everything, save the image, close, reopen Blender, and it will work. You will see the preview. It's not important. If you don't have the preview here, it's fine. And if I take this node, this output of node, and I send it there, and I press a render, so it's F12, you will see, not that, sorry, you have to mute this one. To mute it, you select it and you press M. And if you do the render again, you get this. So it's a bit strange, but right now we are sending to the render our image. It's exactly what you see here. I'm taking the image, I'm sending it to the render. The resolution is wrong because it's the resolution of the output we set in Blender. We changed that. We can actually change it now. We are going to do it after. So first, we need to apply the denoise. To apply the denoise, you create a new node. You search for denoise. You put it between those, and you can just put this image output to this image input of the denoise, and this image output of the denoise, follow me, to this image input of the composite, which is the render. And if you do the render, you get, wait for it, it might be long because the image is huge, but it's much faster than doing classic renders, all right? The smaller the image, the faster it will get. And we get this, and that's it. See, no noise. I know we get something on the side, but this one is fine. It's just like some overflow. Yours is probably even better than mine, all right? Because mine, it's like low sampling. Yours is probably higher sampling, but this is fine. And by the way, Filmic, we don't need Filmic. Filmic is being applied. It's quite strange because let me explain to you this. So right now, here's the colors, the initial colors, and here is the final colors. Filmic is being applied because here, Filmic is there. All right, so it's a bit strange because we have to add the denoise as a node, but we don't need to add Filmic as a node. That's all. You just need to know that. So right now, in the render, we get both the denoise and Filmic, and that's all. Obviously, this was not the right resolution. You can change the resolution of the render by going into output properties and change those resolutions to the ones, the width and height of the image. So it's 4048. You can copy and paste. And don't forget to change this to 100%, obviously. Save. Make sure everything is saved. You press F12. You have to wait maybe like, I don't know, 20 seconds. The image is way too big. I repeat, I did that to make sure that even if you messed up with the island, like they're way too small or some of them are overlapping, it will look okay. But maybe try to get a smaller one anyway. And look how great they are. It's beautiful. It's a rendering jazz. It's really cool. I don't know what's happening here. The text is huge. And this is fine. This is your final image. You can use that image inside 3GS. But we need to save it, so let's go. Alt. Oh, by the way, did I get the resolution right? Wait a minute. Is it the right resolution? Like one. Ah, yes, I think I did a mistake. Multiply by 2, multiply by 2. Oh, yes. So I hope you saw it, but this is not a power of 2 resolution. I got it wrong. So fix that. Very important, because this is the final texture we get, and we are going to use it inside WebGL with 3GS, and we need power of 2 resolutions. So sorry, fix the resolution. It's 4096 by 4096. And this one is perfect. Yeah, everything is good. Cool. How to save it? Well, you can just go to image save, or you can press Alt S. And this is the final image. So we need JPEG. We don't need PNG. PNG is going to be a bit heavy, and PNG can support alpha, but we don't have alpha here. And I'm going to save it inside the same folder. It's not important. You can put it inside your WebGL project folder. But for now, I don't have any WebGL running, WebGL project running. So I'm going just to put them with the file, the Blender file, and the bake.hdr file. The quality, well, it's like in Photoshop and stuff like that. You can use, you can lower the weight of the file. Be careful, it's a lossy compression. So if you do like way too small, the image will look bad. 75 is fine. It's going to be faster to load. Use JPEG, not black and white. So B and W is for black and white. Use RGB. And you can save it, and it's going to be sRGB. Anyway, so you don't have to specify this, which is kind of strange. I don't know why you can change this. But anyway, it's going to be a sRGB by default. You save it, and you get your file inside the folder. So this is the original one. What the hell? And this is the final one. And it's great. It's good baking. I'm proud of you if you did it well. And if your island are ugly, don't worry, it's fine. It was the first time. You won't believe how bad was my first unwraps. So we are fine with the texture. By the way, if you want to do another render just to see your scene, you will have to deactivate those and activate this one. So I can show you the manipulation here. You activate this one, you send it there, and I recommend to mute this one, because if you don't mute them, I think Blender will do the calculation. So mute them so that Blender doesn't try to do something that will not be used anymore. And here you can send a new render. Obviously, you also need to change the resolution. So like this, I think it was something like that. And you just render, and it works again. All right? It's kind of hard to just toggle it every time, but it's okay. We are almost done. All we need to do now is export our model. We need to do some more optimizations, but we need to import it inside 3GS in order to see why we need those optimizations. So I'm not going to spoil those optimizations yet. We're going to do some mistake and export this. So let's go. You can select everything, not the other collection, but yes, you do need the emissions. So you activate the selection on the emissions. You select everything. So as you can see, the lights and the camera has not been selected. Yeah, I think it's fine now. You export it, and we're going to use the usual GLTF. You could have used other formats because it's just geometries, stuff like that. But we use GLTF for now, and this way we can use Draco. So let's go export GLTF 2.0. And inside the same folder, let me check. Yeah, it's the same. We're going to tweak some stuff. First, we need GLB. Yes, I want to save the settings. So next time I'm going to export, these are going to be the same settings. I want to include only the selected objects. I don't care about those. In transform, I want the Y up because in 3GS the Y is going up, so it's going to do the convention alone. We don't have modifiers. You can check it anyway. Maybe you had some modifier, but that would be strange because we did some unwrap, so I'm going to let it unchecked. UVs, oh yes, we do need those. Normals, we don't need those because we don't care about orientation of the faces, because we don't have like light, dynamic light, reflection, stuff like that. We don't have those. So no normals, just the UV, because we're going to use that texture on the geometry, and that's all. We don't need vertex colors. Be careful with this one, very important. You deactivate the materials. We're going to recreate the materials inside 3GS. We're going to create a mesh basic material and use the texture on that mesh basic material on our own. So we don't need to export any material. And if we export those materials, these are going to be PBR material, so standard mesh basic standard material. We don't need those. We don't have lights. You can check compression. We are going to have a problem if you are using the same version as me, and we have nothing about animation. All right, here is the final setup. I can show it to you like that. For the name, you can choose, portal.glb is fine. I've checked the compression here, and I'm going to try to export. And for you, it might work, but for me, it did not work, unfortunately, because there is a bug. It's just a bug. The guys working on the exporters, they know about that. They are going to fix it. Actually, it's a bug we had in the previous version too, so it's sad that the bug came back. It's really complex, so anyway, just they will try. You can just deactivate the compression, and it's fine because the model is really simple. Actually, I really recommend not to use the compression because you will have to load Draco for almost nothing. The geometry is simple and it's going to get even more simple in the next lesson. So deactivate the compression if you have an error. You can let it if you want. You export, and here is your final file here. It's not that big and it's going to get even smaller soon. All right, we are done for the optimization. I mean, almost done for the optimization, and we are done for the UV unwrapping and baking. In the next lesson, we are going to import everything inside 3GS. See you in the next lesson.